Welcome to Coyote News. Get out your wallets. The Board of Regents just raised tuition rates for the next year.
Also, USD's Associate Athletic Director was selected as a finalist for a position at Winona State University.
And the real-life date doctor from the movie Hitch is here on campus. But first, the headlines.
Donald Trump is wishing a transgender Miss Universe candidate good luck in the pageant. The Miss Universe organization says Jenna Talakova can compete in the 2012 competition to become Canada's contestant. But Talakova says she's confused because she also has been told she needs to meet the legal gender recognition requirements of Canada before she can enter the pageant. Mitt Romney tightened his grip on the Republican presidential nomination last night, sweeping primaries in Wisconsin, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. He's turning his sights on the general election, saying President Obama is a little out of touch after spending 4 years surrounded by the trappings of power and presiding over near-record job losses, as well as increase in poverty, government debt, and gasoline prices. In Washington, President Obama says things could be worse, and he predicted they would be if Romney and the Republicans got their way. The president says the GOP is so radical that even the late Ronald Reagan couldn't win a Republican primary if he were running today. An illegal immigrant from Mexico and a black man had little in common until about 8 years ago. That was when they disappeared 3 months apart in the Naples area, both of them right after crossing paths with Sheriff's Deputy Stephen Calkins. Now Felipe Santos and Terrence Williams' disappearance is back in the spotlight. Tyler Perry and civil rights activists are using the Trayvon Martin case to draw attention to what they see as a string of injustices and incomplete investigations involving minorities.
USD's Associate Athletic Director is a finalist for a position at Winona State University. A press release issued today from Minnesota School indicates that David Herbster will be interviewed on April 16 for Winona's Open Athletic Director position. Herbster has been at USD since 2007. In his tenure as a Coyote, he's helped the school transition to Division I competition, implemented a multi-million-dollar scholarship campaign, and increased donors by 75%. He's competing against candidates from East Central University in Oklahoma, Wayne State College in Nebraska. The South Dakota Board of Regents voted to increase tuition and fees at state universities by an average of 6.5%. Starting this summer. The Regents report that an average resident undergraduate taking 30 credits will pay over $7,000 next year. That's an increase of over $400. Every year, the USD College of Arts and Sciences honors one professor for exceeding expectations in the humanities. History professor Judith Sebesta received this year's prestigious James M. Doyle Humanities Teaching Award. Sebesta is the chair of History Department and enjoys researching ancient Egypt, Latin, and classical mythology. Associate Dean of Arts and Sciences Emily Haddad presented the award, saying Sebesta was chosen because she exemplifies the importance of a liberal arts education. Sebesta says she thanks her fellow professors for selecting her for this award. Prior to the award ceremony, the Phi Beta Kappa Alpha chapter initiated 33 new members. The chapter's finalists for exemplary chapter award at this year's triennial conference in Palm Beach, Florida.
For the 20th straight year, students at USD will be showcasing their research during IdeaFest 2012 next week. This year's schedule includes a keynote lecture from author Gail Lemon at 7 on Wednesday night in the Muck. Lemon's address is titled The Dressmaker of Car Khan. It's based on her most recent book, which highlights the relationship between women and work in war-torn regions. Dr. Dana Miller will also speak for IdeaFest on Thursday at noon. She's an assistant professor in the Department of Biochemistry at the University of Washington School of Medicine. Walkers and runners ran for their lives Saturday in friendly competition and in support of a local charity. The 6th annual Run for Your Life 5K began at the Lee Medical Building. Members of the South Dakota State Medical Association and American Medical Association co-hosted the event. The 5K attracted more than 50 participants. They could race and socialize while running through the streets of Vermilion. Their entry fees went in support of the Vermilion Food Pantry, and the runners received a healthy workout from the trek around town. The food pantry provides food supplies to low and moderate income families in the community. Up next, how you can help raise money for leukemia and which USD organization just raised a lot of money for the Vermilion Backpack Program. Next week, the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity is hosting Pike Week of Service to raise money for local and national charities. One of the week's events is Cycle for Life, where participants take a half-hour spinning class at the Wellness Center from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also, the 6th annual Pikes in the Park is next Thursday at Prentice Park. It includes food, games, and live music for a covered charge. The two events help raise money for the fraternity and for leukemia and lymphoma research and local domestic violence shelters. USD's first ever Biggest Loser program has come to a close. Coyote News' Paul Ebsen has the inside story on the competition within the competition.
And the winner is... Chuck lost 41 pounds over the past 12 weeks. This is no easy feat, and fitness instructor Wendy Johnson takes us back to the beginning of Chuck's journey.
On the first night, he stood there, while we were doing some lunges. I can't do this. There's no way I can do this, And his wife said, Connie, he didn't know if he's going to come back for sure, or if he could handle how hard it was.
Chuck pushed on and explains the exercises they did in their workouts.
Mainly just things that you think should be really easy, but you do them they want you to do them as intensely or hard as you can, and it's just for short periods, and then you get rest periods and that, but it's hard on you when you're not used to doing that kind of activities.
Halfway through, Chuck had only lost 13 pounds and was behind his weight loss competitor, Eric Griffith.
I started around 7th for the first month or so, and then I slowly started going all the way up to number 1.
But Chuck started seeing results and wasn't out yet.
So you see it start peeling off, so I got to where I worked harder at it.
Chuck worked so hard it caught Eric off guard.
I didn't realize Chuck was coming up so fast until about the last 3 weeks, and then I started slowly hitting a plateau, and then Chuck just kept going, so he passed me on the last week.
Both competitors lost over 40 pounds each. Looks like a little competition never hurt anyone. For Coyote News, I'm Paul Epson.
Together, the entire group lost 365 pounds. Johnson says they'll conduct another Biggest Loser competition in the near future.
Alpha Phi brought a little south of the border feel to Vermilion when it hosted its 15th annual Alpha Fiesta last week. The sorority raised more than $5,000 for the Vermilion Backpack Program. The program provides school supplies for children from low-income families. About 700 people showed up and enjoyed salsa dancing, a piñata, and door prizes. Vermilion businesses donated 25 prizes for the night. The jalapeno eating contest was another highlight of the fiesta. It left a few participants in tears. Alpha Phi members Alyssa Thompson says this year's event was bigger than last year because of community support and student outreach. Her goal for next year's fiesta is to make it even bigger. Freshman Lindsay Montelu won first place in 21st Annual American Essay Writing Competition sponsored by Institute of American Indian Studies. Montelu received a $1,500 first place prize for her winning paper. The competition was open to USD freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Students were asked to write an essay based upon an editorial that appeared in the Rapid City Journal. The faculty and staff judges scored the papers on originality, style, and relevance of the announced topic. Coming up, Yote reporter Scott Cook looks at the history of the Volant, and the real-life date doctor from the movie Hitch is on campus tonight. Stay with us.
The Volant campus newspaper has been reporting USD's news for the past 125 years. Coyote News' Scott Cook goes behind the scenes to find out how the paper has changed over the years.
A newspaper, a widely available source of information for a community. Today we'll be rediscovering the Volant as we recognize its 125th anniversary.
I don't know how the Volant came to be. That was in the dim, dark past, 125 years ago. We say it's the student's voice, and we really mean that. This is a place for students not only to get information, but to pass information along, whether it's in print or online through commenting on stories or editorials or columns that have been published.
Volant circulation isn't just limited to USD campus. The Volant is for the entire community. Kelsey Kroger, a sports writer, explains her involvement with the Volant.
I have a sports editor, so I meet with him once a week and get my stories for the week. I have to figure out how to set up my interviews, and I work with him to edit my stories.
How do students get involved with the Volant?
Any student can be involved in the Volant from the day you walk on campus. All you have to do is walk into the newsroom and talk to one of the staff members, talk to the editor. We have weekly meetings, show up, take an assignment. That's all there is to it. There's no secret. It's not difficult at all. We aren't like some universities where you have to be a journalism major or you have to be a junior. Doesn't matter what your major is, where you come from, whether you've had previous experience. If you want to work for the Volant, you can.
The Volant prints over 5,000 copies a week for the community. Rediscovering the Volant. With the Oak Report, I'm Scott Cook.
Thanks, Scott. If you're interested in learning more about romance, The Date Doctor is in. The movie Hitch was based on the career of David Coleman. Coleman's speaking tonight in the Muck Ballroom at the invitation of the USD's Mortar Board. The Honor Society's Vice President, Nathan Lee Master, says Mortar Board's bringing Coleman to USD to provide new entertainment for staff and students. The Date Doctor event is open to the public, and it begins at 7.
The Muck Ballroom looked like a mini global village on Saturday. The annual Festival of Nations event celebrates cultural diversity at USD. It was sponsored by the International Students Club. Both students and faculty members performed songs, prepared authentic dishes, and danced in celebration of diversity. Almost every ballroom table was filled, and the audience did more than just observe. Many participated in the festivities, joining a dance led by USD's Miss Tioshpe. All proceeds from the event were donated to the International Student Scholarship Fund. The Missouri River has long been a source of recreation and entertainment for USD students. It's also the subject of a great deal of research being conducted on campus. Coyote News' Brianna Clark is live in the Muck with details on a special Missouri River conference taking place tomorrow.
Thanks, Abby. I'm here at the Muck with Tim Cowman, director of the Missouri River Institute. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Cowman. Why should students attend tomorrow's research symposium?
Well, our symposium tomorrow is an annual symposium that we put on where we talk about research and other work that's being done along the Missouri River. And there's really two reasons why students should attend. Number one, the Missouri River is a great natural resource that we have here right in our own backyard. It's really its own contained wilderness, and it's got a lot of characteristics to it that we uncover as we do work and research along the river. And so it's a great way to learn about some of the natural pieces of the Missouri River, as well as some of the cultural history that the Missouri River holds. And coming to the symposium, there'll be a lot of speakers talking about these issues that will help the students learn about it.
I'm sorry.
A second reason is that we have a lot of students that present at the symposium. And so it's a great way to come and see what fellow students here at USD and at other universities are doing in terms of research on the river. Students can learn about the kind of research that they do, and maybe it might spark some interest in doing some of that research themselves.
Besides students, who else will be guest speaking at tomorrow's event?
In the afternoon, we actually have several speakers from state and federal agencies that are coming to talk. They'll be talking about some of the impacts of last year's flood on the river, as well as some of the impacts to some of the communities along the river. Also in the afternoon, we'll have Dr. Mark Dixon, professor in the biology department. We'll be talking about some of his research that he's been doing on the cottonwood forests along the river. The same forests that we see and enjoy out there are the topic of his research, and he'll talk about what those forests used to look like in the past before this area was settled, as well as what the future might hold for those forests.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. Tomorrow's research symposium is at the El New Hearth and begins at 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. And it's free for the public. Thank you. I'm Brianna Clark, live at the Muck.
Thanks, Brianna. The Easter egg hunts have already begun in Vermilion. Local children were on the hunt yesterday in Prentice Park. Both Sanford Medical Center and Hy-Vee sponsored the event. Dakota Gardens residents helped by putting candy inside the eggs. They hid 2,500 eggs for kids up to the age of 8 to find. The age groups were split up to help keep things fair. The lucky participant who found the gold or silver egg got a special prize. And the local wildlife even got away with some candy.
Sports with Diana Johnson and Mandy Ewald is up next, and Taylor Moore has his eye on the Kansas Jayhawks.
Today on Coyote Sports, one of the men's basketball players has been invited to showcase his skills for the NBA.
Some track and field athletes shined over the weekend, and commentator Taylor Moore is impressed by one athlete's ability to continue playing through tragedy. But first, sports headlines. Lene?
Thanks, Diana. Monday was Kentucky's night in the spotlight when they beat Kansas in the final game of the NCAA tournament. But last night, the spotlight belonged to another NCAA champion, Baylor. The undefeated Baylor women defeated Notre Dame 80-61 to clinch their title. Brittany Griner led the team in blocks, rebounds, and points. Baylor coach Kim Mulkey says Griner will be remembered as one of the greatest post players in the history of the game. Baylor is the 7th women's team to finish the season unbeaten and the first in NCAA history to win 40 games. Nike is now the official uniform provider for the NFL. Yesterday, the company released its designs for the upcoming season. While many people were worried about the change, the new uniforms are pretty much the same, except for the Seahawks. Seattle was the only team to agree to a total uniform remake. All of the other uniforms appear the same, with just changes to the types of material used. ESPN released its rankings of the top 500 players in Major League Baseball. Los Angeles Angels first baseman Albert Pujols received the top ranking. In his 11 years of playing, Pujols has a career batting average of .328, 445 home runs, and 1,329 RBIs. Some others that make the top 10 include Miguel Cabrera, Ryan Braun, and Robinson Cano. And those are your sports headlines.
Thanks, Lene. The spring season of club tennis is one to remember. They've only been a club for 5 years, and they've already beat varsity level teams, including Briarcliff and Sioux City. Their winning season continues, and the team hopes to finish the rest of the year strong.
We are finishing up our season, and we have played quite a few tournaments. Our first one we went to North Dakota, and we got second place at that one.
The teams traveled as far as Wisconsin, and a few of them are even traveling to Arizona for a tournament in a few weeks.
My freshman year, we actually started the club tennis team, so it was a great way to meet people and keep playing tennis, so I really enjoyed it.
The team practices several times a week. Their practice schedule can be found on their Facebook page at USD Club Tennis. Newcomers are welcome to join them on the courts. After being looked at last year by NBA scouts, USD basketball player Charlie Westbrook has another chance to play in the big leagues. Westbrook is invited to play in the 60th annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament beginning next Wednesday. The Invitational brings together 64 of the best college basketball seniors from across the country. At the event, Westbrook can showcase his skills in front of NBA general managers and scouts. The NBA draft is in June.
One of the largest rugby tournaments in North America was held at Wayne State College over the weekend. The men's rugby team has been getting ready for a national competition for a while.
In the spring, we got right out here in February, and we started in the Wellness Center. And with this nice winter, we've been able to get out on the field, which is a huge advantage because we have all this open space.
The Wayne Rugby Tournament is unlike any other.
You're getting 5 games of rugby, which most tournaments you only get 2-3 games. We're experiencing 5 games in one season. That's a season's worth of games.
Last week, high school teams from Sioux Falls and Sioux City stopped by to work with the team and get some extra playing time. After practice, the team finished the night with a cookout as a thank you to the high schools for stopping by. All the teams' games were close this weekend, but they could not come away with the win. 2 USD track and field athletes won their competitions at the Arkansas Spring Invitational. Senior Emma Ladwig won the women's seated 800 meters with a time that ranks 6th nationally and is the best in the Summit League this season. Junior Casey Shade won the men's 800 meters running a personal best. At the Texas Relays over the weekend, sophomore Bethany Buell took 5th in the pole vault.
USD traveled to Brookings for a softball tripleheader this weekend. The Coyotes fell in the first 2 games, but came out swinging in Saturday's final. USD defeated the Jackrabbits in a close 3-2 matchup. Junior Cassie Lowe went 2 for 4 during the last game with a triple and scored a run. Sophomore Christine Broders batted in a run for the Coyotes. Tonight, the Coyotes are on the road, taking on the University of Nebraska-Omaha. On this week's More Sports, Taylor Moore says he's proud of a certain Kansas player.
March Madness is over. On Monday, the Kentucky Wildcats took on the Jayhawks of Kansas. It was an unbelievable game, a dazzling talent spectacle. I was highly impressed with the performances of each team. As many expected and I predicted, the game ended with a victory for Kentucky. Even though I wanted them to win, I was really pleased with the efforts of one particular Jayhawk, Thomas Robinson. Robinson, a forward, has a story that's vastly different from his teammates. He could have played ball almost anywhere, but he decided to play at Kansas. The little town of Lawrence is a far cry from his hometown of Washington, D.C. His mother was a bit concerned about Thomas being so far from home. That concern intensified in December when tragedies began to strike his family. First was the death of his grandmother. 3 weeks later, his grandfather died, and within the span of just 25 days, his mother also died. In all that grief, Thomas's main concern was his sister Jayla. What would she do with no one to take care of her? She now is in the custody of her father, a man who just got out of jail. So how does one continue to play so well with all of this going on? How does one find the tenacity to be strong enough to continue? Robinson put it best. It's unbelievable, beyond words, how tough it's been. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's Thomas Robinson, a great player and even a stronger man. For More Sports, I'm Taylor Moore.
Thanks, Taylor. And that's all for Coyote Sports. Coming up next, commentator Teresa Johnson takes on Fraternity Guys.
Commentary's Teresa Johnson has already taken on a controversial view of sorority sisters. Now she's taking a paradoxical look at the other side, fraternity stereotypes.
Sunday was America's favorite unofficial holiday, April Fool's Day. As jokes were being played out, we asked students about their favorite April 1st memory.
There was cold water poured in the shower, but also someone tied the doorknob. They rigged it somehow where a guy couldn't get out of his room for an entire day.
My best friend's mom got us this giant roll of saran wrap that they use at some factory, and we actually saran wrapped her boyfriend's trailer house while he was at a poker game.
My favorite April Fool's joke is to send a text message from someone to another person. So I mask my number and make it look like theirs and send very inappropriate text messages.
And then afterwards went and saran wrapped him and another friend's vehicle at the poker game, and we just kind of went all around town and saran wrapped these two gentlemen's everything.
I guess I usually every April Fool's Day I call my parents or someone in my family and tell them that I'm just getting out of jail or something like that.
Third grade, we took a wheel off of our third grade teacher's chair. She fell. The whole class laughed, and then she was okay with it, so it was even funnier.
An information technology worker accused of urinating on colleagues' chairs at an Iowa office has surrendered to police. 59-year-old Raymond Foley turned himself in Saturday to face a charge of second-degree criminal mischief. Police say some co-workers had complained about stains on their chairs. A security system was installed and it caught Foley in the act. The chair damage is estimated to be $4,500. And that's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. Have a great night and a good weekend. We'll see you next time.